hip-hop artists that came. We do lots of support for Egypt's antiquities sector through USAID and others. This, if you can see this picture here, this is Dina El-Wadidi, great Egyptian artist, collaborating with an American artist. And down here, this is the Charge des Affaires himself. When we went to a mausoleum that we're helping to renovate, he was so impressed with the beauty of this place himself that he had to take his own phone out. We had an embassy photographer there taking a picture of him and taking a picture of the site, but he himself was so amazed by the beauty that he had to take his own phone out. So that talks about all the things we're doing in this amazing cultural area to build up that strategic relationship. Educational. This is a Maker Fair, an amazing event out in the Smart Village, I think, where we support lots of young Egyptians doing amazing things in robotics and artificial intelligence. There's amazing things happening here in the technology sector that we want to support, right? Over here, we had a couple American filmmakers recently come to the Guna Film Festival and do a workshop for Egyptian filmmakers. I got to travel down there and spend a couple days sitting on that workshop. It was amazing to hear the exchange. Right? We recognize that Egypt's film industry is pretty much as old as ours, right? So we have to think very carefully if we're going to bring two American film experts to El Guna and meet with Egyptian filmmakers, we need to bring people who are serious, right? Because your film industry is just as good as ours and has been around as long as ours. So we're collaborating at this very high level in some of these areas. Over here, you notice these are military officials. Why did I put this one under education? Well, this is an Egyptian cadet who secured a very rare spot to join the West Point Military Academy, which is really one of our most, if not our most elite military academy in America. And he's one of a very small handful of non-Americans who was accepted to attend there. And so we're presenting him with his certificate so that he can go start his studies there. And so while it's a military thing, it's also about education and making sure that the future leaders of the Egyptian Armed Forces have that benefit of that relationship with America and with their counterparts. Science and technology, we do lots of great stuff. That's a kid wearing virtual reality goggles. We do virtual reality training for people at the embassy. We do lots of stuff in artificial intelligence, lots of fun stuff in that area. And then finally, I just want to say, it's not possible for us to talk about the strategic relationship without talking about building it on a personal level, right? I want to thank Mr. Rania personally because for me, this was a wonderful visit. We have the First Lady of the United States here. And the most important thing in that picture is not the pyramid. I know the pyramids are this amazing thing and they're 4,000, 5,000 years old and we all take great pride in them and we love them, but it can't tell its story on its own. There has to be a human being there to tell the story. And the fact that Minister Rania al-Mashat was able to join us that day and stand with Melania Trump and talk to her about the importance of these monuments and the importance of these monuments for Egypt's tourism sector, that makes the relationship, not the monuments themselves, right? We've got, people at the embassy dress up and have fun. Here, if you can see it, this is a good number of the embassy staff when Egypt was in the World Cup, and we all put on our Mo Salah jerseys, right? Because we live here, we're part of what's happening here. Up here, I love this photo. It's a little bit dark, but this is 40 years ago, right? We're at the 40th anniversary of the Camp David Accords. So much of our relationship with this strategic partnership is built on the Camp David Accords that were signed 40 years ago, just as of last month, I think. And this is a beautiful picture of Jimmy Carter and Anwar Sadat just having a quiet moment at Camp David and just having a laugh. And even in the middle of the most intense political negotiations, it does come back to the personal relationship. And one thing I like to say to people is that, it's so important. I started with the slide showing you the meeting between the two presidents. And so many times I say to people, that relationship is so important, but we can't have a relationship that's just built on this, on the two leaders, right? It's got to be the presidents, and it's got to be members of Congress and Egyptian parliamentarians, and it's got to be the business sector, and it's got to be personal. To have that strong strategic relationship and build that brand together, the relationship can't just be one-to-one, it's got to be like this. It's got to be everyone working together. So that's my presentation, and I would just encourage us all to think about how we continue together, Egypt and America, to build that strategic relationship brand. Thank you very much.